Hello everyone and welcome to the channel. If you're checking out this video, I hope that I will be able to educate you on some tips and tricks about the Damascus grind. Ultimately, it's going to take a significant amount of time and investment in this game. If you're struggling to kind of compete in the game as is, I wouldn't venture on down this path because it's going to make you extremely frustrated with the game. But what I'm going to do is try to help you out with some of those frustrations by talking through some of the hardest elements for each particular class of weapon. Alrighty guys, so we're going to go through SMGs, ARs, and LMGs all in kind of one blurb right here. So crouch skills are going to be kind of a pain for all three of these classes. Ultimately, build it into your muscle memory that whenever you get behind somebody, go into a crouch and then shoot them in the head, and or just, you know, crouch right before you shoot somebody. It's going to be a little bit of a struggle at first, but once you kind of build it into your muscle memory, it will be pretty quick. Headshots can be issues with certain SMGs or ARs. Some people just find that certain assault rifles or SMGs are headshot magnets and others just aren't. So keep in mind that if you're running into recoil issues, a lot of times I did use a Merc foregrip to help me out with that. A lot of people like to have recoil though because I feel like it kicks up into the head, so I'll leave that up to you guys, but just know that with assault rifles I was a huge fan of Merc foregrips. That also helps out with the hip fire kills. The kills shortly after reloading, this applies for assault rifles and SMGs. Certain weapons are going to be better. If you have a small magazine size, obviously you're going to be reloading a lot more. Like the Scar, you're going to get that really quick. But the SMG, the Bison, that is going to be hard because you don't reload as often. There are a couple tips for that. First one being use sleight of hand to cut down on the reload timer. And then secondly, just shoot a bullet when you first spawn and reload right as you're about to, you know, peek a corner of a high pop area. Peek the corner, get a couple kills, easy peasy. It will be done kind of before you know it.
Thank you.
There shouldn't be any other skins with, oh yeah, long shots. Excuse me, long shots are kind of an issue with SMGs, LMGs, and ARs, especially if you max out everything in shipment. It's very hard to get long shots with these weapons, so hop into shoot house, shoot down the mid alley, that mid wall, or shoot down the junkyard side from C spawn and domination to A spawn and Shantytown is going to be your best alley in general, because you can get crouched, headshot. Well, obviously you can get a headshot anywhere, but you can get crouched and long shots kind of in the same bullet. LMGs, the only switch up is going to be there's not kills shortly after reloading. There's going to be long shot kills, or excuse me, double kills instead. That's very easy to do with the LMG because you're just shooting so many bullets that it's not going to be an issue. Oh, it is. Look, watch this.
Wow. Wow.
Man, that could easily be
That looked cool.
Because he opened the door opened. Like, that was a great idea.
That was...
What? Damn it, dude, I had it audio muted. I had audio muted. I couldn't hear them. I caught the tail end of it. What did they say?
They said that was yikes. Well, it might
That
have
might have been luck.
But the first thing he said was that was a yikes.
Fuck, dude, fuck me, no. Oh, I didn't have the audio on. I'm so bad at life. Alright, so next we're going to talk about the shotgun class. Ultimately, you shouldn't run into any issues with the shotgun, with the exception of the point-blank kills and the headshots. The headshots are just inconsistent. Sometimes you shoot mid-chest and you get a headshot kill. Sometimes you shoot at the head and you don't get a headshot kill. So it happens. Just get over the frustration, kind of grind through it. The point-blank kills are way more frustrating. You actually have to be so close to somebody that a lot of times you end up just getting spotted. I did most of my shotguns in hardcore because of the lethality of shotguns. Just the range is so much better, in hardcore, and the Origin 12 absolutely stinks. It is a terrible weapon, and outside of shipment, I can't see anybody using that weapon, and especially in core, shotguns are just going to get outgunned unless you one-pump somebody. So point blank, use dead silence, maybe get behind them, sneak up to them, do what you got to do, but even still, point blanks are inconsistent. I've had instances of where I was running through somebody, and right before I ran through them, you know, I obviously shot them and killed them. I still didn't even get the point blank kill, so it is what it is. Marksman rifles and sniper rifles are a little bit of a struggle if you're not familiar with, you know, using sniper rifles or marksman rifles. I was a big fan of Battlefield 5, and I sniped all the time, so this was an easy transition for me, especially with the Kar 98, which is the toughest of the marksman rifles. The challenges for sniper rifles and marksman rifles are basically the same as the others, except for with the exclusion of kills shortly after reloading, and you don't have hipfire kills. Hipfire kills has been replaced with double kills. So the double kill with the Kar 98 is a little bit of a struggle because you need to hit back-to-back bullets. You can't hit a bullet, miss a bullet, and then hit a bullet because time will have gone for too long for the double kill. So focus on the Kar, hitting those back-to-back shots. It's going to be tough. You know, pick high population areas. Shipment and shoot house is probably not your best bet with those. I would go into maybe a hardcore dom, and the one-shot kills is also something, excuse me, with the marksman and sniper rifle, but that can easily be acquired through hardcore if you are struggling to get that. My sniper rifles, I leveled them all up in ground war and got them all max in ground war. Alrighty, so next we've got handguns. When it comes to handguns, I've found that they were A, extremely easy to level in any of the shoot house or shipment maps, and B, make sure you play in hardcore if you're going to use these, because it's just, you're just putting yourself at a disadvantage in core. It's going to take too many bullets, people are going to end up roasting you, but in hardcore, you're actually at an advantage. The ADS for these weapons is extremely quick, and a lot of times you'll end up just getting a one-shot kill. Most of the time when I was playing with them, I was kind of 2-tapping or 3-tapping people just to make sure that I was killing them. But at the end of the day, if you become comfortable with a pistol, it's going to be a threat in hardcore, and you know, you may end up carrying your team well while you're getting this skin. So the biggest challenge for the pistol here, let's go through these skins and I'll give you an idea. I don't really think I struggled much, but I can at least talk to, let's see here. We've got spray paint, obviously kills, 250. Headshots. Headshots might actually be an issue. That one is a little bit of a concern with pistols just because you're trying to kill people. Obviously, it's Call of Duty. And a lot of times you just go center mass and you're not shooting as many bullets as an AR, so the headshots might be an issue. I think there was a particular gun, the 1911, I struggled with just because its rate of fire was slow, and I definitely remember being stuck on headshots with that weapon. I think the rest of these are pretty easy though. Crouching, hip fire, long shots you can get from basically like 30 feet away. Double kills, very easy. 3 kills without sign you might struggle with. If you do, just camp. Honestly, people will come to you, especially if you're playing on the small maps. So pistols, extremely easy. Even the kills shortly after reloading, just because the mag is so small in a pistol, you're going to be reloading all the time. The only gun that I struggled with the exception of the 1911, was the 357. I just found it extremely slow at shooting. The snake shot made it a little bit more bearable, but at the end of the day, it's still 357, and I just am not a fan of it personally. So pistols, pretty easy. We're going to hop next to the launchers, and this is where the grind becomes so real. So if you're here, if you've made it this far, please pay attention because this part is brutal. First off, you can max out your launchers in ground war, with the exception of the, let's say, the RPG and maybe the Strela, depending on how good you are. The Pila and the Joker both lock onto things, so it's very easy to just shoot down kill streaks, yada yada bing bing, boom boom boom, they're max level. Yahtzee, right? Everything's fine. The Strela and the RPG, not so much. And so what I would recommend for you to do is anytime there's a kill streak in a just Dom game or some other game when you're grinding out a skin, pull out your RPG or pull out your Strela and shoot it down. Otherwise, you're going to get stuck on these two weapons when everything else is done and you're going to be bored out of your mind. This happened to me with I believe the Joker and the Pila were the last two things that I had left, and I was just sitting in ground war games just praying to the gods that somebody had a personal radar for me to shoot down. So the Joker is very frustrating because you may have other people in your lobby who are also leveling or getting skins for their launchers, and the Joker takes like 10 times the amount of time to hit a target, especially if somebody's using a Pila. I mean, a Pila literally is a laser. It just freaking shoots so fast, and the Joker's got to go up into the air and then come back down. So, what we're going to talk about is the most valuable things to shoot down. Every personal radar that you see should be shot down. It counts for the skull skin, which is the vehicles, which is the last one. It also counts for like ground kill streaks or some crap. Like literally personal radar counts for I think 6 or 7 out of the 10 skins that you can get for each launcher. So if you see one, shoot it down. It's easy to shoot down with both the Strela and the RPG as well. The counter UAV is a little bit tougher for the RPG, and if you're using an RPG and you need support kill streaks, don't even try for UAV. I think I shot, I don't know, probably 50 shots at UAVs and only shot like 2 to 3 down. So it's very RNG. The RPG does not shoot straight like the Strela. So yes, don't do all these at once. I took a lot of breaks when I was doing launchers because it was so frustrating and just demoralizing. So please do the same. It's going to save you a lot of time and a lot of wanting to gouge your eyeballs out. So don't do that.
You ready to lose it in less than 2 minutes?
Alrighty, so we've made it to the melee weapons. We've got the knife and the shield. At the end of the day, the knife was fun. I saved it for last. I recommend you do the same. The shield sucked. It was absolutely terrible, and it took me a very long time to do. So I'm going to just talk about the skins that were the hardest for each one, because I'm not going to go through each skin for the melee weapons. Ultimately, the woodland is a little tough. This is kills while injured. I did this with the knife in shipment on core, and basically just ran around. I got between, I don't know, 3 and 10 every game. So a matter of, 4 or 5 games, you should be able to complete it. If you get lucky, you might be able to get a ton of these. Don't use stem, because obviously it's going to ruin your being injured. We've got the kills from, or the crouch kills. The splinter is also the other one that's a little bit tougher on the knife, but ultimately, if you see somebody from behind and you're sneaking up behind them, just crouch and stab them and everything will go well. Maybe you might have issues with the finishing moves. For me, this was bugged in that I just got credit for them. I didn't complete a single finishing move when I did my Damascus grind on the knife, yet I got credit. So if you run into this issue where it actually is fixed later on, basically use dead silence, sneak up behind people, and do finishing moves. If they actually fix this, they'll probably move the number down, because 25 finishing moves is pretty tough. Also, there's a typo. That's pretty funny. All right. So, moving on to the shield. The shield. That's all I'm going to say. The freaking shield. This thing sucked. But it's done. Let's talk about it. Level up the shield in core hardpoint. This is because, quote me on this if you want to, I think core players are worse than hardcore players. I found it very easy to outmaneuver people in core and or just smash enemies, get a bunch of kills, die a bunch of times. Like, it is what it is. If I just tried to, you know, do that same approach in hardcore, let's say Dom, like, I would just die over and over and over again. So I tried to complete as many of the challenges as I could in core hardpoint because I felt like that's where I excelled in terms of just sheer volume of kills. Now when we get to the tricky parts here, we've got the kills while injured and we've got the 3 kills without dying. These two elements are extremely tough with the shield, and I found it easiest to do in hardcore. And so with the woodland that kills while injured, I would thermite myself on the spawn and then get kills that way. And the 3 kills without dying, there was a lot of camping. Like, I can't describe to you how hard this is to do in core, because when you start punching somebody in core, it draws a bunch of attention to yourself. Like, you become a target in core if you have a shield on, right? You might get one person, you might get 2 people, like, cool, that's fine. Your restock hasn't, you know, restocked your stun. It is what it is. You're going to end up dying right before that third. You know, something's going to happen. Whereas in hardcore, you can camp kind of in a room, and just as soon as somebody comes in, just hit them once and they die. I actually made a class specifically for this, and I'm going to go through it right now. Obviously the shield. Secondary is going to be, I used the M19. I thought it was the most effective pistol in hardcore just because it has a like 30-something round clip. I did not use kill streaks. I ran specialist, and I ran double time, ghost, battle hardened, then EOD as my first specialist, and then scavenger if I ever got to it, which honestly never happened. So the reason why I put double time instead of EOD in the initial list of perks is because when I was doing the kills while injured, if you have EOD on and you throw a thermite down at the ground and then trigger yourself on the thermite, EOD will pop, and then if you run into a claymore, you're gonna die anyways. So yeah, basically put EOD as the first of the specialists, and
I missed my play of the game.
yeah, do that. I ran with the lethal thermite, obviously, so I could damage myself, and then my tactical was either a stun or a smoke, depending on the map and or what challenges I need to do. The best maps for me with the shield were Vacant, Ramaza, and what was the third one? Vacant, Ramaza. I think Petrograd I did alright in. Shoot House, not so much. Like, a lot of people said Shoot House would be good. I found camping in the office with a shield to be a little slow. It may have just been my lobby. So anyways, Vacant and Ramaza I had a ton of success with. Basically any small map that has a lot of buildings, you will end up finding, you know, areas to kind of camp out, move from room to room, smack people in the face. So the shield is so brutal. I bid you guys good luck. Don't be afraid to you know, ask questions or comments about the video if you have particular questions, and I certainly hope everyone the best of luck on the grind. It is a little brutal, and don't forget about leveling your launchers while you're doing other skins. Otherwise you're going to be in a lot of pain towards the end. So best of luck and cheers.
I guess I should mess with the crossbow.